What's going on, YouTube? I'm Ben Hauver, and today we're going to be taking an early look at the top player props available for championship weekend in the NFL on Prizepicks. We're going to kick things off today with a nice value under on Jerrick McKinnon, 25.5 rushing yards. Jerrick McKinnon has only rushed for 26 or more yards in 3 out of 18 games this season, meaning that he's cashed this line in an 83.3% rate. 26 is obviously a low number for an explosive running back, but it's a tough matchup. The Bengals have allowed the 7th fewest rushing yards per game this season, and McKinnon just doesn't get the usage as a runner. His role in this offense exclusively really is to make plays out of the backfield as a receiver. Since Isaiah Pacheco took over as the Chiefs lead back in week 10, he's outtouched McKinnon 138-51. That's 13.8 attempts on average for Pacheco to McKinnon's 5.1. I love everything about this prop, and the cherry on top is that it's a stone cold value from an odds perspective. McKinnon is minus 141 to go under 24.5 rushing yards on Pinnacle. You get a yard of value on a line that's already juiced in your favor. You guys know the drill. Lock it in. If you're brand new to the channel and want to continue to see Prizepicks content, make sure you drop a like, show us a little bit of support. And for those of you who are brand new, make sure you subscribe. We just crossed 1,000 subscribers. Huge shout out to the people. We greatly appreciate it. But the grind doesn't stop. Onwards and upwards. And don't forget to join our free Discord chat. Link to find that is in the description to this video. Every prop that we talk about on this channel gets posted prior to the YouTube videos. Sometimes they get moved too quickly for us to get, so just make sure you join that. It is a great resource. 2 more props for today's video. Let's keep things pushing. As you guys can see here, I've got my top ramen shirt on, courtesy of course of Jalen Hurts, who sold the absolute bag last week. Honestly, that's on me. I touted Jalen Hurts' first half passing yard as the lock of the year. It was a bumped line. I never should have taken it. I never should have touted it. I want to take accountability for that. And guys, if you tailed, I am sorry. With that being said, we are going right back to the well on Jalen Hurts. He's going to make it all back for us. Hurts has cashed 22 fantasy points in 12 out of 16 games this season. The Eagles are the best team in football, and they have been all year, in large part due to Jalen Hurts' dominance and the versatility of this offense. The 49ers have an elite defensive unit, and this will almost certainly be the toughest task that Nick Sirianni's team has faced all year. But with that being said, I'm still confident that Philly can get it done here. Jalen Hurts has averaged 25.6 fantasy points per game this season. Prizepicks is giving you a 3.6 point dock, purely based, in my opinion, on defensive matchup based off his season-long average, and that's just too much. And for what it's worth, the 49ers defense struggles to defend the things that the Eagles passing offense does best. This stat courtesy of Jared Smola at SmolaDS on Twitter. The 49ers rank first in defending short passes, but 24th in defending deep passes. As you can see on the screen here, the Eagles' primary pass catchers are very clearly utilized most as downfield threats. A.J. Brown with a 12.1 yard average depth of target. Devontae Smith, 9.6 yards, and Jalen Hurts has the 4th deepest yards per attempt in the league. Like I said, I feel very confident going back to Jalen Hurts here. 22 fantasy score is way too low. I anticipated it opening at 24. I also like his passing line here, 233.5. It's 245.5 on books, both on DK and Pinnacle. You're getting 12 yards of value there, and if you're building out a larger slip, you know, a 4 or 6 leg slip, I think that A.J. Brown is a phenomenal corollary play. A.J. Brown is minus 124 to go over 70.5 receiving yards on Pinnacle. His line on Prizepicks, 67.5, and that's a line that he's cleared in 11 out of 18 games this season. If I didn't love this final prop that we're about to get into so much, Brown would have easily been in my top 3 this video. With that being said, let's move on to said final prop. George Kittle over 3.5 receptions. Look, the 49ers began this season as one of the most interesting teams in the league. Trey Lance started the year as this fountain of untapped potential, surrounded by elite weapons and phenomenal coaching. Unfortunately, this was not a fairy tale story. Trey Lance injured in week 2, out for the year. Rewind to Kyle Shanahan's controversial decision to keep Jimmy G on the roster as Lance's backup, a move that the entire football world questioned was seemingly set to pay off off and keep this team competitive. Fast forward to week 13, where Jimmy Garoppolo breaks his foot on the 8th snap of the game. At this point, every Niners fan in America lets out a sigh. The CMC trade, the hope surrounding Lance, the high quality play of Jimmy coming in as the backup, all for naught. Season over, right? Wrong. Because little did we know that Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, had a little bit of that dog in him. He went on to lead this team to a 13-4 finish. The 49ers close out the year as the 2 seed in the NFC. They dispatched the Seahawks with absolute ease in the wild card round. They outplayed Dallas last week. And somehow the least sought after player in the 2022 NFL draft is one of only 4 starting quarterbacks remaining in the penultimate week of the NFL season. Now, you may be asking, what does any of this have to do with whether or not George Kittle is going to catch 4 balls this week? In some ways, it has absolutely nothing to do with it. This is just a story that I find truly fascinating. But since Brock Purdy took over as San Francisco's starter in week 13, George Kittle has racked up 4 or more receptions in 6 out of 8 games. One of the 2 games that he missed was in fact week 13, a game where Jimmy G started and left with the broken foot, a spot that the coaches hadn't planned for, they didn't scheme for. So with Purdy as a true starter, Kittle has gone over this line in 6 out of 7 games. Kittle's been Purdy's safety blanket. Kittle is minus 125 to go over 3.5 catches on Pinnacle. The Eagles have ranked decently well at limiting tight end production this season, albeit they haven't faced much in terms of dynamic pass-catching tight ends on the opposition, and still, they have allowed just over 4 receptions per game to the position this year. Now they face one of the top tight ends in the NFL in George Kittle, Purdy's safety blanket, like I said, and I am locking Kittle in as the 3rd and final prop of today's video. That's going to be it for this one, guys. Greatly appreciate everybody tuning in and the continued support we've gotten from you, the viewer. If you liked what you saw in today's video, make sure you drop a like, show us some love, and if you're brand new, subscribe to the channel. We crossed 1,000, but the grind's not over. We'll be back with more Prizepicks content later in the week. Until then, let's stay profitable. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you on the next one.